thanks for coming this morning and agreeing to just talk a little bit about the D Cafe and what it means to you and if it's made any differences. How did you hear about the D Cafe?
I went to the Alzheimer Cafe which is in the east end of Glasgow. So that was like the other side of the city for me. So when I was there, I made some contacts and they directed me back to this part of the city. And Ceartas, I suppose. Angie, she works for Alzheimer's. Mm-hmm. So that was the contact. And then I'm not really sure, but I think maybe Angie put me in touch with you. Mm-hmm. And I went to the Killermont Cafe, which was like, geographically the nearest place. And at that time, Richard wasn't interested in doing anything like that. So I just came along a few times.
And what was your first impressions for coming in?
Well, it was a nice building, which helped. It was nice and open and airy and not too church-like. So, yeah, it was first impressions were good. And it was lovely cakes. I think some places the cakes are better than others. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely.
But there was like really nice sponges, and it was like, wow, try not to eat too much because there's lots of delicious things that laid out. And people were really friendly, and it was mostly couples. And it was just interesting speaking to people about different stages of dementia and just chatting to them. Just seeing people was good because I think already by that time our social contacts weren't that weren't that numerous. There wasn't a lot happening. So it was nice just to meet people and chat, and I enjoyed it.
So what would you say, so if you were explaining a D Cafe to somebody and somebody was saying to you, what do you do at it? What happens? Do you have guest speakers? How would you explain it? What kind of things do you experience there?
What I remember is there was a couple who actually support the charity, and I've forgotten their names, but he played the guitar and he sang. I was actually quite good. I think he's actually, he's sort of amateur performer. So there was music quite often, and there was interesting talks. Yeah, there's people coming along to talk about things that were relevant, like safety and other things. I didn't always get to everyone. I think that's the other thing. It was quite relaxed. I didn't feel I had to turn up every week and to be bang on time or anything like that. Which would be an issue sometimes. When you're taking somebody else around. So yeah, it was all very relaxed and pleasant atmosphere.
And so what would there be anything that you have taken forward from going to D Cafe and being connected with Ceartas, getting information? Is there any projects or anything that you've...
Yeah. I mean, when I first started going to the cafe, I really didn't know that much about frontotemporal dementia. I mean, it's one thing to read about it, but to actually meet people who knew people who had frontotemporal dementia, which is what my husband's got, was really helpful. It was painful as well because it's not a nice disease. It was tough to hear it, but at the time I wanted that information. And that's where I got it really, was through the cafe largely, in a way that made sense to me. Just meeting people, that I can speak to about it.
So there's a few projects that you've got involved with already. I think Scottish Ballet.
Yeah, that's right. So you were good on the Zoom during COVID because, I just started going to like the Killermont Cafe for a few times and it had to stop because of COVID. So we're talking about March, a year past it now. So yeah, you got good on the communication. So Rich and I both for the first week, but after that he wasn't interested. But that was really interesting. That was very, very creative, sort of in an interesting way. And he sent us materials. It was all very generous. But no, Pastoral was good. I found new places in Bearsden to walk, which was fun. What else? There was something else about walks. I don't think we got the link from you, but there was another charity called Frog Life.
Oh yes,
don't you, Louise? So we walked with her for like once a week, I think, for a while in the winter when the weather was really bad and nothing was happening. So that was good to go out with her. So yeah, walking's a good one.
We'll maybe get Fiona along to speak at a D Cafe from Frog Life because I've just been introduced to her through Life Changes actually. So yeah, maybe she's somebody that we can get along to speak. And I think what you were saying about the live music, the volunteers with the live music, yeah, that's really nice. And we can all just sit and enjoy the music and just a sort of cafe atmosphere. And also what you were saying about it being friendly and the baking, it definitely makes a difference to me as a worker if we've got volunteers, and there's a really good core group of volunteers at the Killerman Church Tea Cafe, and they supply the baking, and they just help us just make people feel comfortable and just kind of offer that sort of hospitality. But yeah, the cakes always go down well, no matter where we are. So if you were to say, if there was somebody watching this, Chris, and they were a bit apprehensive about maybe going to a group or sort of joining in somewhere, how would you encourage them to get involved and come along?
Yeah, well, I can think of someone in that situation, and I would maybe just say, come with me. I'll come with you, and yeah, no commitment. I mean, that's it. You're not signing up to anything. Yeah, I would just say go along, give it a go. Why not? And you've got quite a lot of cafes as well. It's not like there's just one place that's, if you have difficulty travelling, there's more cafes, isn't there?
There's a few throughout Eastern Bartonshire, and I usually tell people when they're starting off, try them all. You can come to them all in different areas throughout Eastern Bartonshire, Kirkintilloch, Bishopbriggs, Lindsay, and over here in Bearsden. And I'd say just try them all. And some people go to two, but people are welcome to come along to all the tea cafes. They're all more or less the same, but some have got slightly different, just because of venue. And it definitely makes a difference for us when the volunteers are there, and we've got that wee bit of home baking and the volunteers to do the music as well. So
I can remember the first time you met Richard in person, you were like surprised at how tall he was.
Yes.
You'd seen him on screen, and that worked really well for him. I mean, because I'd been doing Zoom with a group that was my group, and the first time he joined Zoom with me was when we did an online with you, and it was about, the theme was music, and of course he doesn't really say that much, but he showed everyone his LPs, and he really sort of was able to make that connection, and he really enjoyed it, so that was
that was good. Yeah, it was really good for me as well, just like putting a face. And I think it was after then that he came along to the walk, and I thought, oh my goodness, you're so tall. Because all I'd seen him was sitting in the chair, and I think we had a wee played with the ball because there was a little net, so we were shooting some balls into the net as well. So yeah, that was good.
Yeah. Another thing we did was there was a magician who was very entertaining. I didn't always get to those meetings. I can't remember what the timing was, but it didn't fit in with whatever we were doing, which can't have been that important. But we didn't always get to them. But the ones we went to were always very entertaining.
Chris, I think you enjoyed one that I really enjoyed as well, and it was an online disco, a Zoom disco.
Oh yeah, that's true.
that was a little bit different, but that was fun.
Lots of people enjoyed that.
Yeah, no, that was good.
Remember arms and legs and sort of waving arms, and people were getting
so. Yeah, we had to be a little bit inventive. We tried to be creative, and we've had some good guests. I don't know if you've been on any of our Zooms when we've had guests from the Deep Network. We've had somebody on showing us how to make a garden. It was a water feature. I'm not sure if you were on that one. So
I missed that. Could do with that, really.
That's become a competition to see who can get the best one. So that's been good, inviting people from and you've met people on the Zoom that go to other groups that you wouldn't normally have met before.
There was a 5 group that were really interesting.
Yeah,
the recipe book and everything.
Yes.
I mean, they were just amazing. I was really impressed with them.
So, are you looking forward to meeting? I know we're meeting on Monday for just a catch up. With the group, but are you really looking forward to meeting back the way that we did before COVID? Yeah.
Because I came on my own initially, because at that time Rich wasn't interested, but he's much more, he he needs to be directed much more now, and he's letting me do that, you know. So he'll definitely be coming along this time. So, and and he does like socializing, you know. He still enjoys a lot of things, and being around people he does enjoy as well. He's quite up for going places, so that will definitely work for us. Yeah.
Well, that's really good. So I look forward to seeing you both. We're getting one step nearer every day to getting back to normal.
Yeah, yeah.
So is there anything else that you want to say about the decafes, or to anybody that might be watching, or just a final sort of closing?
No, I just encourage anyone to go, because it's fun, it's casual, you just can't go wrong really, and you probably learn something useful.